Africa is a continent of immense mineral wealth. Its vast landscapes are dotted with rich deposits of precious metals, gemstones, and industrial minerals, making it one of the most resource-rich regions on the planet. From the gold of South Africa, which has been mined for centuries and continues to be a major economic driver, to the cobalt of the Democratic Republic of Congo, a critical component in the batteries that power our modern devices, the continent holds a significant portion of the world's known reserves of precious metals, gemstones, and industrial minerals. These resources are not just abundant, but also incredibly diverse, ranging from diamonds and gold to rare earth elements and industrial minerals. This abundance has made Africa a target for exploitation throughout history, from the colonial era to the present day. The continent's mineral wealth has attracted foreign powers and multinational corporations, all eager to tap into these valuable resources. With both opportunities and challenges arising from this vast natural inheritance, the story of Africa's mineral wealth is one of both promise and peril. Understanding the sheer scale and diversity of Africa's mineral resources is crucial to comprehending the complex dynamics at play in the modern era. These resources are not just geological formations, they are the lifeblood of modern technology and industry. These minerals are not merely geological formations, they are the lifeblood of modern technology and industry. They are essential components in everything from smartphones and electric vehicles to industrial machinery and medical devices. They are the lifeblood of modern technology and industry. From the tantalum in our smartphones, which allows them to function efficiently, to the tantalum in our smartphones, which is crucial for their compact and efficient design, to the platinum in our catalytic converters, which helps reduce harmful emissions from vehicles, African minerals are essential components of the global economy. They are shipped worldwide, fueling industries and economies far beyond the continent's borders. This interconnectedness has created a high-stakes race for access and control, with multinational corporations, foreign governments, and local communities all vying for a share of the pie. The stakes are incredibly high and the competition is fierce. With multinational corporations, foreign governments, and local communities all vying for a share of the pie, the landscape of African mining is a complex web of interests and power dynamics. However, the distribution of these riches is far from even. The benefits of resource extraction often fail to trickle down to the majority of the African population, leading to stark contrasts between wealthy mining areas and impoverished local communities. And the benefits of resource extraction often fail to trickle down to the majority of the African population. This disparity has led to significant social and economic challenges. The presence of such valuable resources has been both a blessing and a curse for Africa. On the one hand, it has fueled economic growth and development in some areas, providing jobs and revenue for governments. On the one hand, it has fueled economic growth and development in some areas, providing jobs and revenue for governments. This has led to the development of infrastructure and improved living standards in certain regions. Providing jobs and revenue for governments, the mining industry has the potential to be a powerful engine for development. On the other hand, it has also led to conflict, corruption, and environmental degradation. The competition for resources has often resulted in violence and instability, while the environmental impact of mining has caused long-term damage to ecosystems. Perpetuating a cycle of dependency and underdevelopment, these issues have made it difficult for many African nations to fully benefit from their natural wealth. The challenge for Africa lies in breaking free from this historical pattern. By developing sustainable and equitable mining practices, the continent can harness its mineral wealth for the benefit of its people, and harnessing its mineral wealth for the benefit of its people. The future of Africa's mineral resources holds great promise, but it will require careful management and a commitment to ensuring that the benefits are shared by all. The history of Africa's mineral wealth is inextricably linked to the legacy of colonialism. For centuries, the continent's vast resources have been both a blessing and a curse, attracting foreign powers with insatiable appetites for wealth and control. European powers, driven by industrial ambitions and imperial greed, saw Africa as a treasure trove waiting to be exploited. They embarked on a ruthless quest to carve up the continent, each nation eager to claim its share of the riches. These powers established colonies, exploiting Africa's resources to fuel their own economic expansion. The extraction of minerals in particular became a cornerstone of their colonial enterprises. From the diamond mines of Sierra Leone to the gold fields of the Witwatersrand, the story was the same. African labor and resources were systematically plundered to enrich colonial coffers, with little regard for the well-being of the local populations. The exploitation was relentless. African miners toiled in harsh conditions, often under the watchful eyes of colonial overseers. The wealth generated from their labor flowed out of Africa, leaving behind a legacy of poverty and underdevelopment. This period left deep scars on the continent, shaping its political, economic, and social landscape for generations to come. The impact of colonial exploitation is still felt today, as many African nations struggle to overcome the legacies of this dark chapter in their history. Colonial powers established extractive institutions and infrastructure designed primarily to facilitate the flow of raw materials to European factories. Railways, ports, and roads were built not to benefit local communities but to serve the interests of the colonizers. They invested little in local processing or value addition, ensuring that African economies remained dependent on the export of unprocessed commodities. This lack of investment in local industries stunted economic growth and development. This pattern of resource dependency, coupled with the systematic underdevelopment of human capital and infrastructure, created a legacy of economic vulnerability. It hindered Africa's ability to compete in the global market on equal footing, perpetuating cycles of poverty and inequality. The exploitation of African minerals during the colonial era was often brutal and inhumane. Forced labor, land dispossession, and violent repression were common features of the colonial enterprise, leaving a trail of suffering and injustice. Forced labor, land dispossession, and violent repression were common features of the colonial enterprise. Entire communities were uprooted, and countless lives were lost in the relentless pursuit of profit. The Congo Free State, under the personal rule of King Leopold II of Belgium, stands as a particularly horrific example of colonial barbarity. The atrocities committed in the name of resource extraction are a stark reminder of the human cost of colonial greed. Millions of Congolese were killed or maimed in the pursuit of rubber, ivory, and other resources, leaving an enduring trauma that continues to haunt the region. The scars of this exploitation are still visible today, in the form of economic instability and social unrest. The colonial legacy continues to cast a long shadow over Africa's mineral sector. Despite gaining independence, many African nations still grapple with the remnants of colonial rule, as they strive to build more equitable and sustainable economies. Many of the laws, regulations, and institutions governing the industry today are rooted in colonial structures, often favoring foreign companies and perpetuating the power imbalances of the past. This makes it challenging for African nations to fully benefit from their own resources. Overcoming this legacy of exploitation and dependence is essential for Africa to achieve true economic liberation and chart a more equitable and sustainable development path. By reclaiming control over their resources and investing in local industries, African nations can pave the way for a brighter future. In the 21st century, a new scramble for Africa's minerals is underway, driven by soaring global demand and geopolitical maneuvering. The continent, rich in resources like cobalt, lithium, and rare earth elements, has become a focal point for nations and corporations seeking to secure their economic futures. Multinational corporations, eager to secure access to these valuable resources, are making significant investments in exploration, extraction, and processing. These companies are not only interested in the raw materials but also in establishing long-term operations that can sustain their supply chains for decades to come. This renewed interest has been accompanied by a surge in foreign direct investment, infrastructure development, and technology transfer, bringing both opportunities and challenges to the continent. Roads, railways, and ports are being built to facilitate the transport of minerals, while new technologies are being introduced to improve extraction efficiency. China, in particular, has emerged as a major player in Africa's mineral sector, investing heavily in infrastructure projects, resource extraction ventures, and diplomatic partnerships. The Belt and Road Initiative has seen billions of dollars funneled into African countries, creating a network of economic dependencies. This engagement has been met with both enthusiasm and apprehension, as African governments grapple with the implications of this growing economic and political influence. While some see it as a pathway to rapid development, others worry about the long-term consequences of such deep entanglements. While Chinese investment has the potential to unlock significant development opportunities, concerns remain about transparency, debt sustainability, and the equitable distribution of benefits. Critics argue that these deals often favor the foreign investors at the expense of local communities. The United States, European Union, and other traditional powers are also vying for influence in Africa's mineral sector, recognizing the strategic importance of these resources for their own economic and security interests. They are keen to counterbalance China's growing presence and ensure their own access to critical minerals. This competition has led to a complex web of partnerships, alliances, and rivalries as global actors navigate the geopolitical chessboard of Africa's mineral wealth. Diplomatic negotiations are often intense, with each party seeking to secure the most favorable terms. The challenge for African nations is to leverage this competition to their advantage, securing favorable terms of engagement and ensuring that their own development priorities are met. This requires astute negotiation skills and a clear vision for national development. This new scramble for Africa's minerals presents both risks and rewards. On the one hand, it has the potential to boost economic growth, create jobs, and improve living standards. Successful management of these resources could lead to a transformative impact on African economies. On the one hand, it has the potential to boost economic growth, create jobs, and improve living standards. However, the benefits must be carefully managed to ensure they are widely distributed and not concentrated in the hands of a few. On the other hand, it also raises concerns about neo-colonialism, resource curse dynamics, and the potential for conflict and instability. The history of resource extraction in Africa is fraught with examples of exploitation and environmental degradation. Navigating this complex landscape requires careful planning, strong institutions, and a commitment to transparency and accountability. African nations must build robust frameworks to manage their resources effectively, ensuring that the wealth generated contributes to sustainable development and long-term prosperity.